अब थोड़ा ड्राफ्ट करो। थोड़ा तुम ड्राफ्ट करो। हाँ बेटा, वो इकोनॉमिक्स का आंसर नहीं लिखना है, थोड़ा लीगल ड्राफ्टिंग करना है। लॉस विल बी एडेड बैक नहीं। हाउ डिड यू स्टार्ट? अच्छा एक काम करो, सेकंड बुक में आ जाओ। नहीं नहीं, सेकंड बुक में आ जाओ ना। हाँ कॉफी ब्रेक ले लेते हैं। विल जेन्युइनली टेक अ ब्रेक। हाँ 10 मिनट ब्रेक ले लेते हैं चाय पीने का। मैं हाफ एन आवर ब्रेक डिले कर दूंगा, दैट इज ओके। बट तुम चाय कॉफी पी क्या? हाँ। अरे पहले पढ़ो ना यार, तुमको यार हाँ पेज 149 पे आओ ना। 149। सी what I have done with you, financial statements prepared as per Ind AS, right at the bottom of the page. Subsection 2A. For a company whose financial statements are drawn up in compliance to the Ind AS specified in Annexure to the company's Ind AS Rules 2015. For a company whose financial statements are prepared according to Ind AS, in simple terms, the book profit as computed in accordance with explanation 1 to subsection 2, that is what we have been doing since the last 3 days, shall be further. I have done A, B, C, D, next proviso, the proviso thereafter, and 2B. I have done all this discussion with you. Now let's read it in groups. The book profit shall be increased by all amounts credited to OCI in the statement of profit loss under the head items that will not be reclassified to profit or loss. अब इसको सिंप्लीफाई करना है। देखो OCI मतलब दैट इज योर सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ P&L, increased by all amounts credited, सर्कल द वर्ड credited और थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस यूज करो। क्रेडिटेड वर्ड यूज हुआ, अमाउंट क्रेडिटेड विच मीन्स गेन है तुम्हारा, सो अमाउंट क्रेडिटेड मीन्स दिस इज योर रिवैल्यूएशन गेन, एंड द वर्डिंग्स आर increased by all amounts credited, so you are adding the revaluation gain. If you go back to the previous page, उसमें क्या लिखा है? The book profit shall be further increased. Shall be further क्लॉज ए में इंक्रीज होगा, मतलब नेट प्रॉफिट बिफोर ओसीएस से स्टार्ट किया एंड रिवैल्यूएशन गेन ये 70 लाख रुपीस आपने ऐड किया। एंड इफ यू रीड प्रॉपरली क्लॉज ए के एंडिंग में क्या लिखा है? आइटम्स दैट विल नॉट बी रिक्लासिफाइड टू द प्रॉफिट और लॉस। क्लॉज बी क्या लिखा है? डिक्रीज्ड बाय ऑल अमाउंट्स डेबिटेड। ऑल अमाउंट्स डेबिटेड, अमाउंट्स डेबिटेड विल मीन ये तुम्हारा रिवैल्यूएशन लॉस है, सो यू विल रिड्यूस द रिवैल्यूएशन लॉस, मतलब तुम डिक्रीज करोगे। इन सिंपल वर्ड्स वो लॉस का डिडक्शन लोगे। डेबिटेड टू अदर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम OCI इन द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ P&L अंडर द हेड आइटम्स दैट विल नॉट बी रिक्लासिफाइड टू प्रॉफिट और लॉस। और ये A और B का कंबाइंड लॉजिक क्या है? आई कैन हैव अ कंबाइंड लॉजिक। वो P&L में हिट नहीं करेगा, सो क्लॉज A एंड B का कंबाइंड लॉजिक इज विल बी, चाहे तो लिख लेना बाद में, सुन लो पहला, विल बी डायरेक्टली ट्रांसफर टू अदर इक्विटी इन फ्यूचर, सो मेन P&L में हिट नहीं होने वाला। सो A एंड B का कंबाइंड लॉजिक यू कैन राइट लाइक दिस, विल बी डायरेक्टली ट्रांसफर टू अदर इक्विटी इन फ्यूचर। अब पॉइंट सी देखो, इंक्रीज्ड बाय अमाउंट्स और एग्रीगेट ऑफ अमाउंट्स डेबिटेड टू द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट लॉस। याद रखो OCA नहीं लिखा, स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट लॉस लिखा, तो यू कैन अंडरलाइन स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट लॉस एंड यू कैन राइट डाउन दिस इज योर पार्ट 1 और द मेन P&L. And it says increased by the amounts debited, which means I am talking about loss. मेन P&L में कुछ डेबिट हुआ है तो ये लॉस है. On distribution of non-cash assets to shareholders in a demerger in accordance with Appendix A of the Ind AS 10, इसका बात हो रही है. 5 lakh rupees. Where do you show it? Part 1 of P&L. लॉस है तो डेबिट होगा, और टैक्स क्या बोल रहा है? बुक प्रॉफिट शैल बी इंक्रीज्ड बाय दैट 5 lakhs. मतलब यू विल एड दैट 5 lakh rupees बिकॉज वो लॉस डिसअलाउ करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दैट लॉस इज अ लॉस ऑन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ आफ्टर टैक्स प्रॉफिट्स. तो तुम एक्यूमुलेटेड प्रॉफिट्स आर आफ्टर टैक्स, इनकम टैक्स पे करने के बाद का प्रॉफिट है, वो तुम डिविडेंड के तौर पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो. इज अ dividend is always after tax profits distributed. Point D, decreased by all amounts or aggregate of all amounts credited to the statement of profit loss. Statement of profit loss again means part 1, amount credited means ये तुम्हारा gain हुआ, you are decreasing the gain. On distribution of non-cash assets to the shareholders in a demerger in accordance with Appendix A of Ind AS 10. मतलब we are reading subsection 2A. Subsection 2A started by saying for a company which is following Ind AS, for a company which is preparing its profit and loss account in accordance with Ind AS, the book profit that you have already calculated in accordance with explanation 1 to 115 JB2 shall be further increased by point A, decreased by point B, increased by point C, decreased by point C, decreased by point D. ये मेन प्रोविजन हुआ. अब प्रोवाइजो, नथिंग कंटेन्ड इन क्लॉज A और क्लॉज B, क्लॉज A क्लॉज B मतलब OCI items shall apply to the amount credited or debited to OCI under the head items that will not be reclassified to P&L in respect of revaluation surplus for assets in accordance with Ind AS 16. What is Ind AS 16? PPE. Or Ind AS 38 which is intangible assets. Heading says intangible asset, उसमें अंदर impairment के बारे में लिखा हो तो you know it. And point 2, gains or losses from investments in equity instruments designated at fair value through OCI in accordance with Ind AS 109. हमने क्या पढ़ा? प्रोवाइजो पढ़ा. प्रोवाइजो says nothing contained in clause A and B shall apply to the amounts credited or debited in the OCI pertaining to these three items. Now what is there in clause A? Clause A बोलता है revaluation gain has to be added. Clause B बोलता है revaluation loss has to be subtracted. So अब ये तो कुछ नहीं बोला ना कि कौन से ईयर में. So the natural interpretation is कि जिस ईयर तुमने रिवैल्यूएशन गेन रिकॉर्ड किया OCI में तभी तुम गेन ऐड करोगे, लॉस रिड्यूस करोगे. बट an exception created is in case of PPE, intangible asset and equity instruments, whatever you have written in clause A and clause B will not apply. क्यों? Because next proviso also clarify करता है. Provided further that the book profit of the previous year in which the asset or investment referred to in the first proviso, asset or investment referred to in the first proviso, इसको underline करके you can write down PPE, intangible assets, equity instruments. Provided further that the book profit of the previous year in which the PPE, intangible asset, equity instruments are retired, disposed, realized or otherwise transferred, the book profit of that previous year shall be increased or decreased as the case may be by the amounts or the aggregate of the amounts referred to in the first proviso for the previous year or any of the preceding previous years and relatable to such asset or investment. ये प्रोवाइजो क्या बोलता है? फर्स्ट प्रोवाइजो ने क्या बोला? Whatever is written in the main section A and B, don't do that. So revaluation gain, revaluation losses pertaining to intangible assets, PPE and equity instruments, do not add them, do not subtract them as it is given in the main section. ये फर्स्ट प्रोवाइजो ने बोला. सेकेंड प्रोवाइजो ने क्या बोला? The previous year in which that PPE, intangible asset, equity investment is retired, the book profit of that year will be increased by the total amount of revaluation gain, revaluation losses. So instead of giving effect every year, you will give effect in the last year when that particular asset is sold. That means in the year in which you will take it to other equity, जितना भी अमाउंट तुम अदर इक्विटी में ट्रांसफर करोगे उतना तुम टैक्स में ले लोगे रिलेटिंग टू पीपीई, इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स एंड इक्विटी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स. Which now what would you transfer in other equity? Net revaluation gain loss. So net effect gain आया तो increase the profit. But which year's profit? The previous year in which it is retired, sold, disposed. Shareholder suffers a fall in the share value. So as compensation he is getting shares of resulting company. But वो तो सिर्फ share capital का fall हुआ. Profit related to that business is with the demerged company only, which eventually will go to the shareholder. Liquidation पे अगर अभी distribute नहीं हुआ तो liquidation पे जाएगा. तो instead of liquidation मैंने अभी दे दिया. Optional ही है ना, compulsory नहीं है. This one I am treating it at this one मतलब हाँ इसमें ये दिस वन दैट वन समझना बहुत टफ है. नहीं, items relating to gains or losses relating to PP intangible asset, they are never going to come to the first P&L. They are directly going to go to other equity. It's like removing it from P&L account and transferring it to general reserve. So items that will be subsequently reclassified to P&L will be taxed when they get reclassified. Now if you read second proviso is for if if this 70 lakhs is revaluation gain and 10 lakhs is revaluation loss pertaining to PPE, intangible assets and equity instruments, they will be recorded in 1920, 2021 in accounts. Tax may effect will be given in the year of sale 21-22 when it gets sold off. So if this is PPE, intangible assets and equity instruments, effects will be given in the year of sale. Accounts में record every year होगा. नेट इफेक्ट लास्ट में दिया जाएगा टैक्स में. एनीथिंग अदर देन पीपी, इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स एंड इक्विटी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, अदर देन दैट अकाउंट्स में इफेक्ट एवरी ईयर, टैक्स में इफेक्ट एवरी ईयर. जिस ईयर गेन रिकॉर्ड किया उस ईयर गेन पे टैक्स भरो, जिस ईयर लॉस रिकॉर्ड किया लॉस का डिडक्शन लेके जाओ. अब 2B देखो. अच्छा, one more thing that you can observe. We read the whole subsection 2A. Nowhere in subsection 2A there is a mention of nowhere items which will be subsequently reclassified to P&L. ये मैंने तुमको लॉजिकली स्टार्टिंग में ऐसे सिखाया था कि भाई ये इवेंचुअली टैक्स लगने ही वाला है तो उसके लिए सेक्शन बनाने की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. गवर्नमेंट इज गोइंग टू गेट द टैक्स व्हेन द रिक्लासिफिकेशन हैपेंस. बराबर? ओके. Subsection 2B. In the case of a resulting company where the property and liabilities of the undertaking or the undertakings being received by it are recorded at values different from values appearing in the books of account of the demerged company immediately before the demerger. Any change in such value shall be ignored for the purpose of computation of book profit of the resulting company under this section. In case of a resulting company, when it records the value of assets and liabilities in its books and it is different from the values appearing in the books of the demerged company, such change will not be taxed in the hands of the resulting company. This subsection 2b was inserted in financial year 17/18. And the demerger definition has been amended in our previous year 1920. Since you guys have book 1, book 1 में पेज नंबर 5 पे आ जाओ. Definition of demerger. एक मिनट. Definition of demerger. Initial 3 lines says demerger according to sections of Companies Act 1956 in such a manner that condition 1, all property of the undertaking being transferred by demerged company immediately before demerger becomes the property of the resulting company. All liabilities relatable to the undertaking immediately before demerger become liabilities of the resulting company. What is the meaning of these two conditions? All assets and all liabilities should be transferred to the resulting company. You cannot transfer 90% of the assets and liabilities and sell off the balance assets as a demerged company. नहीं, transfer करो तो सब कुछ transfer करो. Point 3. The property and the liabilities of the undertaking being transferred by the demerged company are transferred at values appearing in its books of account immediately before the demerger. अब this is what is already mentioned. Next page पे तुमको एक proviso मिलेगा. Provided that the provisions of this subclause number 3 shall not apply where the resulting company records the value of the property and the liabilities of that undertaking at a value different from the value appearing in the books of the demerged company immediately before the demerger in compliance to the Ind AS specified in the annexure to Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2015. So Income Tax Act definition says it should be recorded at the same value at which it was in the books of demerged company. But if you are trying to comply Ind AS and you are recording it at a different value, so you are violating the condition of demerger. Now the proviso says that this subclause will not apply. So don't strictly follow subclause number 3. We will consider that subclause 3 is not applicable to a resulting company which is following Ind AS and recording it at different value. That means even if you record it as a different value, we will still consider this demerger as an income tax demerger and demerger ka definition will get satisfied. And you can see कि जो proviso में लिखा है कि values recorded in the books of values recorded in the books of resulting company are different from the values recorded in the books of resulting company. This concept is there in your MAT ka subsection 2b also. Before that it was not treated as a demerger as per income tax, and then the government realized कि हाँ, now it will be treated as a definition as a demerger. I've read 2A, I've read 2B. 2C तो बाकी है, अपना डिस्कशन ही बाकी है. 2C is simple based on 2A. Transition is simple based on the yearly adjustments. यहाँ तक समझा? लिखना है. पॉज कर दो. I'll refine some things. तुम ट्रांजिशनल एडजस्टमेंट्स फ्रॉम ईयरली एडजस्टमेंट्स ओनली, यहीं से स्टार्ट करो. व्हेन यू आर गोइंग फ्रॉम old accounting standard to new accounting standard, this is something that you should be aware probably from Ind AS. When you go from old accounting standard to Ind AS, how many balance sheets do you prepare? So balance sheets are prepared on 3 dates: the year in which you adopt Ind AS for the first time, a year prior to that, और वो जो प्रायर ईयर है उसका फर्स्ट डे ओपनिंग बैलेंस शीट. एंड हाउ मेनी P&Ls डू यू प्रिपेयर? 2 P&Ls, बरोबर. सो if I am adopting Ind AS for the first time in the year 1819, then my balance sheets will be prepared 31st March 19, 31st March 18 and 1st April 17. 3 balance sheets will be prepared. Now what Income Tax Act is saying is, when you will go from old to new, that means when you will go from historical cost to fair value, you will have revaluation gain, revaluation loss of all the assets and liabilities. Now you are suddenly finding the market value of all the assets and liabilities, so your gain or loss, whatever it is, that's going to be a huge amount. Say for example, a particular asset was purchased in 2006-07 and we followed the WDV historical cost method up to 2017-18, and now in 2018-19 I am straight away changing to fair value. So this jump from WDV of 17-18 to fair value of 18-19, this is going to be a huge amount. So you cannot put everything of this revaluation gain loss into a single year's P&L. If you do that, you are basically, let's say an asset which was purchased for 60 lakh rupees in 6-7 is today appearing at say 12 lakh rupees due to depreciation. But now that there is a gap of 12 years, the market value would have shot up like anything. So market value, let's say, is 1.7 crores. Now you are going straight away from 12 lakhs to 1.7 crore and you are saying this is my revaluation gain. If you put this whole revaluation gain in a single year's P&L, OCI, then you are recognizing a huge amount of gain, which logically is not just 1 year's amount. So what subsection 2C is telling you is that you find an amount which is called as transition amount. What is this transition amount? Basically the total revaluation gain, revaluation loss on all assets, all liabilities, and you spread this over 5 years. So this transition amount is either going to be a gain or a loss, but you spread it over 5 years, and that means you will get a deduction of losses for 5 years, or if it's a gain, you'll pay tax over 5 years. Now the question is, these 5 years, in my example, exactly my example, these 5 years have to be counted from which year? I'm adopting it in 1819. So I'm preparing balance sheet as on March 19, as on March 18 and as on April 17. So my 5 years are the future 5 years to be spread over the next 5 years. Starting from which year? So which year? Which year? अब choose करो. Which out of this 5 years should be counted from which year? वन फोर 17 को कुछ नहीं हुआ. नहीं, 1417 को ऑनेस्टली कुछ नहीं हुआ. एक काम करो, थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट लॉजिक है लेकिन ट्राई एंड पिक दिस लॉजिक अप. हाउ डिड यू गेट 1417? So for financial year 16-17, the financial statements were reported according to fair value or historical cost. That means when did you adopt Ind AS? So your 5 years cannot be counted from 17-18 na, या 16-17 na. It has to be counted from the first year in which you reported the financial statements, because that is when the transition happened. तुम चेंज कब किया? तुमने आरओसी में जो फाइल किया होगा फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 16-17, वुड इट बी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स एज पर इंड एस और ओल्ड एस? सो इट, व्हेन डिड यू अडॉप्ट इंड एस? नाउ यू नीड ओपनिंग बैलेंस फॉर दिस फाइनेंशियल ईयर, सो यू प्रिपेयर्ड लास्ट ईयर्स एज पर फेयर वैल्यू. Then last year opening you need, so you prepared 1417 also as fair value. But do you realize you got this date because you decided that you will adopt it in 18-19. If I change this as adopted year 19-20, so this 1417 will not remain 1417, फिर वो भी change होगा ना. यहां तक समझा? एक और common sense logic. If 1417 is to be selected, that means you are telling me कि whatever is a 1/5 amount, effect has to be given from 16-17. वो कैसे करोगे तुम? रिटर्न तो ऑलरेडी फाइल हो गया. तुम समझते हो क्या रहा है? The accumulated revaluation gain or revaluation loss is my transition amount, and that is to be spread over 5 years. So gain will be taxed over 5 years, loss will be allowed over 5 years, and we are discussing कि 5 years counting कहां से होगा. If you say that 5 years counting has to begin from 16-17, you are saying this in 18-19 because you are adopting it in 18-19. अब तुम transition amount calculate कब किया? 18-19 में ना. How can you spread it over 5 years starting from 16-17? 16-17 का तो return of income file हो गया. The first year in which you adopt Ind AS. What do you mean by adopt Ind AS? The first year in which you report your financial statements for the first time as per Ind AS. For comparative purposes, you went back 2 years and prepared balance sheet, but that was for comparison. I mean, how ridiculous would it look? Okay, if your balance sheet shows March 19, मतलब 18-19 balance sheet amounts are fair value and 17-18 balance sheet amounts comparison के लिए is historical cost. ये तो complete mismatch लगेगा. If a shareholder is given balance sheet when we adopted Ind AS, but you prepare 18-19's balance sheet, that is a year of adoption, as per fair value, and 17-18 you show historical cost because that is what you had submitted to ROC, then the comparison is useless na. So you have to, for comparative purposes, you have to even recast or recompute everything of preceding year as fair value. So that is for comparison or not for adoption. You never adopted or you never reported Ind AS in 17-18 and 16-17. So मेरा 5 years will be counted from the first year in which you adopted Ind AS. समझ पड़ा? Are you sure? Okay. मतलब ट्रांजिशन अमाउंट है क्या? ट्रांजिशन अमाउंट इज द अक्यूमुलेटेड रिवैल्यूएशन गेन और रिवैल्यूएशन लॉस. अक्यूमुलेटेड सब कुछ अब तक का सारा रिवैल्यूएशन गेन लॉस कवर कर लिया. Now I'll give you the provisions. Easy है. If we have seriously understood subsection 2A, so this is very simple. Transition amount does not include revaluation gain, revaluation loss relating to items that will be subsequently reclassified to P&L. There is a asset, there is a liability whose revaluation gain loss will be eventually classified to P&L. Now I am adopting Ind AS. There is an asset or there is a liability. I am adopting Ind AS, so I am going to switch to fair value. But if the revaluation gain is pertaining to this item, which will subsequently get classified to P&L, तो I will not include it in transition amount. Reason? बाद में होने ही वाला है वो. Example. Currently you are at WDV. Now imagine, from WDV you went to fair value for the first time. This was transition event. Then you went to fair value, next balance sheet date. Fair value to fair value, next balance sheet date. Then that event happened and the item got reclassified into P&L. So WDV to fair value to next year's fair value, and then reclassification into P&L. Now let's start with the end. When it got reclassified into P&L, what would you do? Take the revaluation gain loss and shift it to the first part of P&L. So which means from fair value to next year's fair value, ये जो gain loss था आपका, WDV to fair value नहीं, after transition का बात कर रहा हूं मैं, after transition, after adoption, fair value to the next year's fair value, ये gain you will pay tax or loss you will allow when it gets reclassified. बरोबर? So same treatment has to be done for that item ना, from WDV to fair value. What you do for yearly adjustment has to be consistent with the transitional adjustment also ना. मतलब WDV, यही example ले लो ना, 12 lakhs to 1.7 crore गया, ठीक है? And this is for an item which is subsequently going to be reclassified to P&L. Now next year 1.7 का 1.5 crore हुआ. You showed it in OCI. You showed it in OCI. Next year that event happened. And when that event happened, what did you do? You took this 20 lakh rupees into the first part of P&L. So by that logic, ये difference भी तो तभी first part of P&L में जाएगा ना? Let me finish. I'm not done with my explanation. This is exactly why the difference between 12 and 1.7 crore should not be put in transition amount and spread over 5 years. Because this difference is eventually going to be taxed or allowed in the year of reclassification. Government has framed the section so consistently that the treatment that you give for yearly adjustment is the same treatment that you will give on transition also. What did we learn about PPE? PPE से related क्या पढ़ा हमने? Revaluation gain, पहले accounts बात करते हैं. Accounting, revaluation gain, revaluation loss shown in OCI, items never reclassified to P&L. But for PPE, intangible assets and equity instruments, cumulative revaluation gain loss to be added or reduced in the year of sale. बरोबर? Now imagine करो, I adopted Ind AS in a particular year. For the next 4 years, I kept the PPE with me and kept on doing fair valuation. So first time adoption, next 4 years, fair valuation every year. Let's talk of after adoption what happens. What happens after adoption? वो PPE का every year का revaluation gain loss. Where do you show in accounts? OCI, never reclassified to P&L. What do you do in tax in those 4 years? Nothing. Because cumulative effect will be given in the year of sale. So when you went from fair value 1 to fair value 2 to fair value 3 to fair value 4, accounts में you recorded the gain loss, tax में you did not give any effect. This means, let's go a step backwards. From WDV to fair value, this change that you have, this revaluation gain loss that you have, is not included in the transition amount and not divided by 5 years. Because the combined effect is going to be given in the year of sale. Matlab, now if this is also confusing, I can probably say this. ये प्रॉपर्टी है मेरा PPE, ये प्रॉपर्टी है. Currently it appears at WDV. I adopted Ind AS, इसको fair value पे convert किया. Suppose I take this into transition amount. तो WDV to fair value, revaluation gain spread over 5 years. So I'm paying tax on that gain over 5 years. Then I keep this property with me for the next 4 years and keep on having revaluation gain loss. That gain loss I'm not paying tax every year, paying tax in the year of sale. मतलब for the same fixed asset I'm having 2 different tax treatments, जो गलत है ना? Either tax is to be paid every year or tax is to be paid at the end. So once you do yearly adjustments after adoption, इफ यू आर पेइंग टैक्स एट द एंड एट द ईयर ऑफ सेल, तो ये ट्रांजिशन पे भी सेम चीज फॉलो करो ना. यू कांट हैव इनकंसिस्टेंसी फॉर द सेम फिक्स्ड एसेट. दैट मीन्स ये जो पढ़ा ना पीपी, इंटेंजिबल एसेट, इक्विटी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, यहां पे क्या पढ़ा? इफेक्ट नॉट टू बी गिवन एवरी ईयर, cumulative combined effect to be given in the year of sale. Same concept applicable. Transition amount does not include the total revaluation gain loss on these items because effects will be given cumulatively in the year of sale. मतलब होगा क्या पता है? If you understand this ना तो मेरे को बोल देना कि हाँ समझ गया. I'll move ahead. WDV to fair value. What am I talking? PP, intangible assets and equity instruments. I'm talking this. WDV to fair value अकाउंट्स में रिकॉर्ड हुआ. फेयर वैल्यू 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 अकाउंट्स में रिकॉर्ड हुआ. नाउ 4 years later PP is sold. So the cumulative effect from fair value 1 to fair value 4 is to be given in the year of sale. ये कहां पे लिखा है? ये ईयरली एडजस्टमेंट में लिखा है, बरोबर. और तुम अकाउंट्स में क्या करोगे पता है? WDV से लेके जो फेयर वैल्यू 1 में लिखा है ये रिवैल्यूएशन गेन भी तुम अदर इक्विटी में ट्रांसफर करने वाले हो इन द ईयर ऑफ सेल. All the transitional adjustments are done directly in other equity only. So when you adopted Ind AS, WDV to fair value तुमने अदर इक्विटी में डाल दिया, which means net profit before OCI में वो कभी आया ही नहीं. Then फेयर वैल्यू 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 OCI में इंक्लूड हुआ. टैक्स ने उस पर टैक्स नहीं लगाया. इनकम टैक्स ने बोला हम टैक्स अभी नहीं लेंगे, विल कलेक्ट टैक्स एट द एंड ऑन सेल. सो फ्रॉम फेयर वैल्यू 1 टू फेयर वैल्यू 4 क्यूमुलेटिव गेन लॉस इज टैक्स्ड इन द ईयर ऑफ सेल. नाउ इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड अकाउंटिंग कंसिस्टेंसी, नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड टैक्स भी कंसिस्टेंट है. अकाउंट्स में क्या करते हो? फेयर वैल्यू 1 to 4 जितना भी क्यूमुलेटिव है वो सीधा निकाल के तुम अदर इक्विटी में डालते हो. एंड ट्रांजिशन पे क्या किया तुमने? फ्रॉम WDV टू फेयर वैल्यू वो भी सीधा अदर इक्विटी में डाला ना. मतलब लुक एट योर अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट. WDV टू फेयर वैल्यू डायरेक्टली ट्रांसफर टू अदर इक्विटी एट द टाइम ऑफ ट्रांजिशन. एवरी ईयर्स फेयर वैल्यू फर्स्ट शोन इन OCI, I mean every year's revaluation gain loss first shown in OCI, then in the year of sale transfer to other equity. मतलब इवेंचुअली पूरा गेन लॉस किधर जा रहा है? अदर इक्विटी. अब ये अकाउंट्स हुआ. अब टैक्स बात करो. व्हेन इज इनकम टैक्स टैक्सिंग द गेन? इन द ईयर ऑफ सेल. सो वेदर इट इज ईयरली और एट द टाइम ऑफ ट्रांजिशन इफेक्ट शुड बी गिवन इन द ईयर ऑफ सेल ओनली ना, नॉट एवरी ईयर. दैट मीन्स WDV टू फेयर वैल्यू का जो चेंज आया, यू कैन नॉट टेक दिस इनटू दिस ट्रांजिशन अमाउंट एंड स्प्रेड इट ओवर 5 years. उसको लास्ट में ही इफेक्ट देना पड़ेगा द वे यू डू ईयरली. ये कुछ समझ पड़ा या नहीं? क्या नहीं समझा? तेरा सुई अभी भी इधर ही अटका है. हाँ, you didn't understand this part in the yearly adjustment or in the transition amount? Acha. Anybody can give me an example of an item that will subsequently get reclassified to P&L? I mean an actual. मुझे एक एग्जांपल चाहिए. इक्विटी का हो सकता है या नहीं, आई एम नॉट कंसर्न्ड. डेट, अच्छा ठीक है. हाँ, वो FVTPL नहीं चाहिए मेरे को FVT OCI चाहिए. बट हाँ, अच्छा. डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स मीनिंग आई हैव इश्यूड द डेट और आई हैव डिबेंचर एज एन एसेट ना. हाँ, Say we purchased debentures at a cost of 10 lakhs years ago. Balance sheet was consistently showing 10 lakh rupees as an asset value. Then on adoption, the fair value was 12 lakhs. Fair value next year end is 11 lakh 60,000. And fair value on date of sale is 14 lakhs. अच्छा, अब एक काम करो, at the time of sale तुमने profit कितना record किया? At the time of sale of this debenture, what profit did you record in books? 14 minus 11.6 कितना है ये डिफरेंस होना? 2.4. Where did you show it? Where? कहां पे दिखाया? P&L पार्ट 1. ओके, ये 40,000 का रिवैल्यूएशन लॉस वेयर डिड यू शो? OCI रिक्लासिफाइड. 10 to 12 अभी भूल जाओ, बिकॉज दिस इज योर डाउट, भूल जाओ. अब सेल हुआ तो तुम क्या करोगे? दिस तो इज डायरेक्टली शोन इन पार्ट 1 ओनली. व्हाट अबाउट दिस 40,000 which is currently reflected in OCI part of your P&L? हाँ, so that means this 40,000 OCI में reclassify हुआ, but in the year of sale you will take it to part 1. बरोबर? My question, when did you record this 40,000 as a loss? In this year end? Did you take a deduction of this 40,000 in that year? Reason? So? Why? You don't remember? It's on the board. Why is there no section created for this? This is what it went eventually. अब ये 2 लाख रुपीस का तुम्हारा रिवैल्यूएशन गेन. If you take this into the transition amount, suppose you take this into the transition amount, you will spread it over 5 years as per the section. Then it means for this debenture, you are giving different accounting treatments. That when after adoption, you are taking the losses and the gains in OCI part and not paying tax every year. Not paying tax every year. But this you are paying tax every year. ये wrong है. So it will not be included in transition amount. ठीक है? And in this year of sale, it will be taken to part 1. अब तुम मैथमेटिकली देखो, 2 lakhs का गेन, 40,000 का लॉस, 2 lakh 40 का गेन. So your total gain recorded is 4 lakhs and that is ये 10 और ये 14 का difference. So transition amount will not include any revaluation gain loss pertaining to an item that will subsequently get reclassified to P&L. So I will not take it into transition amount and spread it over 5 years. When that reclassification वाला event happens, yearly amounts are transferred to main P&L and transition amount, I mean adoption वाला amount is also transferred to main P&L. एक लास्ट प्रोविजन, ये समझ पड़ा तुमको? हाँ बोलो ना. Understood. Other than PP, intangible assets and equity instruments, revaluation gain will be notionally taxed. Going by that logic, revaluation loss will be notionally allowed also. You have not suffered that loss. So it's like stock in trade हुआ, डिबेंचर हुआ, या डेटर का वैल्यू हुआ, या फिर some short term liquid investments. Now when the market value falls, you don't suffer the loss in bank account, but fair valuation के हिसाब से you will still show it as a loss. ये जो आपका concept है कि you've not earned the gain but you've paid tax, बराबर. If you've not earned the gain or realized the gain, you are still recognizing it as gain in accounts. हाँ, so हाँ मतलब अकाउंट्स तुमको बोलता है कि do fair valuation and due to that fair valuation take a revaluation gain and show it in the P&L, not in the main P&L but show it as your income. बराबर. So in accounting sense unrealized gain is being shown as income and unrealized loss is being shown as a loss or an expense. तो अब टैक्स भी वही अडॉप्ट कर रहा है. मतलब टेक्निकली तुम 1.7 करोड़ का 1.5 करोड़ तो बोला 20 लाख का लॉस हो गया. ये लॉस हुआ तो नहीं ना, बैंक अकाउंट में लॉस नहीं हुआ ना, रियलाइज नहीं है, बट तुम अकाउंट्स में लॉस दिखा रहे हो. तो टैक्स भी बोलेगा ठीक है ये लॉस तुम दिखा रहे हो तो हम उसको लॉस मान लेगा, तुम गेन दिखाओगे तो हम टैक्स भी लेंगे. अच्छा, व्हाट इज FCTR? ट्रांसलेशन रिजर्व. बराबर. एनीथिंग एल्स दैट यू कैन टेल मी अबाउट FCTR? हाँ मतलब 31 मार्च को क्या करते थे? what did you revalue? इंटेग्रल ऑपरेशन, नॉन इंटेग्रल ऑपरेशन. So the point is FCTR मतलब तुम्हारा जो रिजर्व अकाउंट है, will it have some balance on the day of adoption of Ind AS? My question is, will FCTR have a balance on the day of adoption of Ind AS? वो रिजर्व फॉरेन करेंसी ट्रांसलेशन रिजर्व में बैलेंस होगा या नहीं? हो सकता है. नाउ यू हैव एन ऑप्शन ऑफ टेकिंग दैट अमाउंट एज जीरो इफ माई मेमोरी इज करेक्ट, के व्हेन इट कम्स टू Ind AS, व्हेन आइदर यू डू द fair valuation and then find the FCTR balance in terms of fair value, or you take it as deemed zero and now only the fair valuation will be done prospectively henceforth. So that's a possibility कि current FCTR balance that you have, you deem it as zero. Ind AS gives you that option. ये है, मतलब I am also reasonably confident है. So option one is you find the value again, FCTR का fair value, जो भी रिजर्व बैलेंस है उसका fair value find कर लो, या फिर consider it as zero. We don't want to get into the fair valuation. Henceforth we'll do fair valuation. FCTR से रिलेटेड जो भी तुम्हारा रिवैल्यूएशन गेन लॉस होगा, दिस इज ऑल्सो नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन द ट्रांजिशन अमाउंट. Not included in the transition amount. Any revaluation gain, any revaluation loss pertaining to FCTR is not included in transition amount, not spread over 5 years. Reason: where do you classify FCTR? Forget transition, yearly adjustments, yeah, after adoption, FCTR, where is it classified? It gets covered as OCI, items that will be reclassified to P&L. So when your foreign branch will close down, that is the event on which that reclassification will happen, and it will become a discontinued operation. So I have a branch in Dubai. Every year assets and liabilities of that Dubai branch, you do fair valuation and you put the amount in FCTR. That is OCI, items that will be subsequently reclassified to P&L, yearly adjustments. 5 years later I close down the Dubai branch. The cumulative FCTR balance, all the revaluation gain losses of all the years accumulated, combined figure, gets transferred into the main P&L. Dubai branch will become a discontinued operation and all the amounts will be transferred to the main P&L. So that means government is going to get the tax on that accumulated revaluation gain from that Dubai branch when the Dubai branch is sold. I was constantly saying an event will happen and it will get reclassified. So what is the event in this case? In this case, the event is that branch closing down. So the cumulative FCTR balance रिवैल्यूएशन गेन लॉस pertaining to that FCTR, वो combined amount एक साथ gets transferred to the first part of P&L. So then there is no need of dividing it over 5 years. So transition amount does not include that also. Definition of transition amount: excludes PPE, intangible assets, equity instruments wala gain or loss. First thing. Second thing, it excludes any gain or loss that is pertaining to an item that will subsequently get reclassified to P&L. Third thing, it excludes any gain or loss that is related to the FCTR because eventually वो reclassify होने वाला है. Other than this, अच्छा हाँ. Fourth thing, it also excludes, transition amount also excludes capital reserve and securities premium account. So if you have any revaluation gain, any revaluation loss on securities premium, on capital reserve, you exclude that. Other than that, you take all the revaluation gain, all the revaluation losses, spread it over 5 years, deduction allowed 5 years. So in the next 5 years, what will happen? Even this is easy to imagine. I'm kind of summarizing. In the next 5 years, अपना book profit calculation will be net profit. Add explanation 1, 115 JB subsection 2. Add subsection 2A. Yearly adjustments तो होगा ही. Clause A, Clause B, जो तुमको A, B और मैंने इरेज कर दिया C और D, वो डीमर्जर वाला केस, नॉन कैश एसेट्स, दैट इज अ स्पेसिफिक थिंग, वो होगा तो ही होगा. एंड 1/5 ऑफ ट्रांजिशन अमाउंट एज पर क्लॉज नंबर 2C या तो ऐड होगा या तो लेस होगा. फर्स्ट 5 years आफ्टर अडॉप्शन ऑफ इंड AS, फर्स्ट 5 years अपना बुक प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेशन विल बी नेट प्रॉफिट, एड लेस एक्सप्लेनेशन 1, एड लेस सबसेक्शन 2A yearly amounts, add less 1/5 amount of transition. Once 5 years are over, वो transition वाला चीज निकल गया. Then it will be explanation 1 वाला adjustments and 2A वाला adjustments. पक्की बात समझा? Sure? अब एक काम करो, subsection 2C में आना, but do not read subsection 2C from the beginning. And if need be, you write this as a hint also. Subsection 2C has to be studied first from the explanation that is given. Page number 150. First read the explanation, then come to the main provision. The problem is, in the main provision there are many provisos inserted, and those provisos talk of some things which are defined in the explanation. So if you start reading the main section from the beginning, you get confused कि ये क्या लिखा है, नहीं समझ पड़ता. So first read explanation, then read the main provision. तो start from explanation. There are 3 points there: year of convergence, date of convergence, and transition amount. इतना read करो and then come to the main provision. Then things will be very clear. Page 155, question 3. Read कर लो ना. It's an exam question based on this Ind AS adoption. पढ़ा. Profit that is given to you is before adjusting losses and depreciation. First information that is given to you is the information about loss and depreciation. Now as per our normal provision, whichever is less is allowed, but towards the end of the question you are given that this is a company whose application has been accepted under the insolvency and bankruptcy code, and that means if that is the situation, then it is both loss and depreciation both can be adjusted. याद है ये? Now losses already have been deducted while computing book profit. Losses already have been deducted. So as far as the current year goes, brought forward loss is 0 and brought forward unabsorbed depreciation is there. Then then the situation that would be is that if it would have been a normal company, then loss brought forward 0 and unabsorbed depreciation is there, and whichever is less would mean that nothing would be adjusted if it was a normal company. For example, financial year 14-15, loss is 4,60,000, depreciation is 4,90,000. But it is said that 4,60,000 has already been deducted for assessment year 18-19. So as far as current year goes, our assessment year 2021, brought forward business loss becomes 0. There is nothing brought forward because it was already adjusted. 2 years ago it was already adjusted. But then the unabsorbed depreciation would be 4,90,000 and loss brought forward in the current year would be 0. And in a normal case, loss or depreciation whichever is lower, so technically nothing would be adjusted. But because this is a company whose application has been accepted, loss brought forward is 0, but still the depreciation of 490 can be adjusted. Then the information given to you about adoption of Ind AS. So this is given very straightforward. Okay, OCI items that may be reclassified to profit and loss. That information though we have to completely ignore only right now, because as and when the reclassification will happen, effects already will be there in the net profit. Items which will not be reclassified, वो तुम्हारा B amount है. हाँ वो, हाँ एक सेकेंड, आइटम्स, हाँ वो मेरा प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक है, वो B amount is not to be reclassified. नहीं नहीं नहीं, so equity instruments, the revaluation loss, we don't have to do anything. Deferred gains on cash flow hedges, deferred cost of hedging, इसका इफेक्ट देना पड़ेगा. शेयर ऑफ अदर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इनकम ऑफ अदर एसोसिएट्स, इसका इफेक्ट भी देना पड़ेगा. रीमेजरमेंट ऑफ पोस्ट एम्प्लॉयमेंट बेनिफिट्स ऑब्लिगेशन, ये भी इफेक्ट देना पड़ेगा. रीवैल्यूएशन सरप्लस फॉर एसेट्स, कुछ नहीं होगा इन द ईयर ऑफ डिस्पोजल. And transition amount that is given to you is 52,50,000, which includes capital reserve of 8 lakhs and 4,50,000 of foreign operation. So capital reserve वाला जो gain है, this has to be excluded. और वो foreign operation का जो translation difference है, मतलब ये तुम्हारा FCTR वाला amount हुआ, that has to be excluded from the definition of transition amount. So 52,50,000 is not to be spread over 5 years. 52,50,000 minus 8 lakhs minus 4,50,000 जो नेट बचा, that is to be divided over 5 years. and adopt कब किया है? 1/4/16, मतलब financial year 16-17, and our financial year is 19 previous year 19-20, so it falls in the span of 5 years. So 1/5 amount आएगा, and it's a revaluation gain I think. Credit balance, हाँ, so that's a revaluation gain, तो add होगा. कंप्यूट द मैट लाइबिलिटी, तो मैट लाइबिलिटी तो कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा. टेक द नेट प्रॉफिट और ये सारा इफेक्ट्स दे दो. अज्यूमिंग दैट द इनकम टैक्स अंडर नॉर्मल प्रोविजंस वर्क्स आउट टू 9,20,000. कंप्यूट द टैक्स क्रेडिट इफ एनी टू बी कैरिड फॉरवर्ड बाय द कंपनी इंक्लूडिंग द पीरियड अप टू विच इट विल बी अवेलेबल टू बी कैरिड फॉरवर्ड. सो वंस वी हैव द मैट अमाउंट, विल बी एबल टू डिसाइड मैट पेएबल है या रेगुलर पेएबल है. इफ मैट इज पेएबल तो द डिफरेंस विल बी द मैट क्रेडिट. इफ रेगुलर इज पेएबल तो मैट क्रेडिट होगा ही नहीं. देख लो जरा सोल्यूशन. नो, यू आर सेइंग दिस बिकॉज तुम्हारा जो क्वेश्चन 1 है ना, जो कल किया था, उसका भी वेटेज 10 मार्क्स ही था, बिकॉज मैट वाला तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन 10 मार्क्स के वेटेज के लिए आता है. दे हैव. In question 3, this question that we solved, you are basically getting 10 marks for studying this mat with Ind AS, not leaving it as option one day before the exam, because this is यार too complicated, नहीं समझता, बोर होता है, कोई याद नहीं रहता करके तुमने छोड़ दिया, तो ये क्वेश्चन गया तुम्हारा. It's been coming.